We continue with the book of Divrei Haymim, and again, it's more genealogy. Today we look at the tribes of Levi. After yesterday, we did start with Yehuda because of the family of David. Shimon is sort of encompassed into them. Then we did the family of Ruvain, who's the oldest son, and because it was Ruvain, we included the two tribes, other tribes, or one and a half other tribes on the eastern bank of the Jordan River. And now we have the tribe of Levi, because that is the fourth son of the original children of Leah. B'nai Levi, Gershom, Katu, Merari. We know this children of Levi, three sons, Gershom, Katu, Merari. Ve'ele Shmot b'nai Gershom, Livni v'Shimi. Gershom as Livni v'Shimi, uvnei Kat, Amram, v'Yitzhar, v'Chavron, v'Uziel. Kat had four sons, most famously Amram, b'nai Merari, Machli, u'Mushi. Merari had two sons also. Ve'ele Mishpot Halavi la'avotem. So these are sort of the families after we have Gershom, Katu, Merari, we have these different families. And we go on. And this stuff is repeating at this point of genealogies that are in the Torah. Gershom, Livni, Beno, Yachat Beno, Zima Beno. In verse 6, Yoach Beno, Ido Beno, Zerach Beno, Yatri Beno. Okay, so there's all this from that family. Then we have Bnei Kahat, Aminadab Beno, Korach Beno, Asir Beno. Elkanah Beno, Vevyasaf Beno, Asir Beno. Tachat Beno, Uriel Beno, Uzziah Beno, Vishaul Beno. So that's from the family of Kahat. And now we have Elkanah, Bnei Elkanah in verse 10, Amasai v'Achimot, Elkanah, Bnei Elkanah, Sofai Beno, v'Nachat Beno, right? So again, just more genealogy. Eliab Beno, Yerocham Beno, Elkanah Beno, Uvnei Shmuel, Habachor, V'Shani, V'Aviyah. The sons of Samuel, his firstborn, Vash, were Shani, or Vashni, and Aviyah. These are his children. So continuing of name Merari, Machli, Livni, V'no, Shemi, V'no, Uza, V'no, Shema, V'no, Chagia, V'no, Asiya, V'no. These were appointed by David to be in the to be singing songs in the temple at the time that the Aron was brought from. It was in exile, if you remember early in the book of Shmuel, and then it was brought back, was sent back by the Philistines, and it sort of sat without a home. And after David made Yerushalayim his capital, he tried the first time, didn't work, and then the second time he tried, and the Aron was brought to Yerushalayim. And we know, of course, throughout their history, we have the Bnei Asaf and others, especially from the tribes of Levi, that they were the singers, they were the musicians in the Beit HaMikdash. Continuing verse 17, and they served in the tabernacle in the tent of meeting, right? It wasn't a permanent, it was just sort of the Aron was sitting there. Until Shlomo built the Beit HaMikdash for God in Jerusalem, they carry out their duties as prescribed for them, as what had been continued. So we're being told the different names of the singers who were appointed. Bnei Elkanah, ben Yerocham, ben Eliel, ben Toach, ben Suf, ben Elkanah, ben Machat, ben Amasai. To verse 21, ben Elkanah, ben Yoel, ben Azari, ben Safani, ben Tachat, ben Asir, ben Aviasaf, ben Korach, Ben Yitzhar, Ben Kahat, Ben Levi, Ben Yisrael. Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, the son of Levi, the son of Yisrael. So we see they're into the fourth generation. By the way, here you see the sons of Korach. We, of course, know Korach came. It's not that long. We'll read about it. But Korach came to a terrible end. But we have the descendants of Korach sing songs in the Beit HaMikdash. They are amongst the Levites who have songs that are composed by them in the Tehillim, which we studied a while back at this point. Continuing verse 24, V'achiv Asaf omed al yamino, Asaf ben Berechia ben Shimon. It's telling us more names of their family members who sang, Ben Michael, Ben Baaseya, Ben Malkia, we're in 25, Ben Etnai, Ben Zerach, Ben Adaya, Ben Eitan, Ben Zima, Ben Shemi, Ben Yachat, Ben Gershom, Ben Levi. So this is all from the family of Gershon. Now, the third brothers of name Mariachem al Hasmol, Eitan, Ben Kishi, Ben Abdi, Ben Maloach on the left were their kinsmen, right? The different places where they stood when they were singing. They were to the left. Ben Chashavia, Ben Amatzia, Ben Chilkia, Ben Amsai, Ben Bani, Ben Shamer, Ben Machli, Ben Mushi, Ben Merari, Ben Levi. V'achem Aleviyim, we're in verse 33, Netunim l'chol avodat Mishkan Beit Elam. And other Levites were appointed for all the service in the Beit HaMikdash, other things that they were supposed to do. They would flay the sacrificial animals, and they would be, sort of guards at the gates, and all sorts of different things. Those who didn't sing, to assist and to help the Kohanim, and with the regular items that just needed to be done in the Beit HaMikdash. The Kohanim did not have the time to do. And we're told in 34, it is opposed to those Levites, V'aronu vanav, maktirim al mizbeach olav, v'mizbeach Torah, l'chol melechet kodesh, ha'kedashim, l'chapel Yisrael, k'chol asher tziva Moshe v'erelim. But as opposed to the Levites, the one family from the Levites, that is Aaron and his children, they were in charge of the offerings, making offerings on the altar, the burnt offering, the altar of incense, and performing all the most holy tasks, Trumat HaDeshen, and the removal of the ashes from Israel, according to that which Moshe had told the servants of God. Shmuel asked me, what's the point of this book? And I said, there are a number of theories. One of the theories, the importance, the significance of the Beit HaMikdash, importance of the Davidic dynasty. So here, again, the establishment of who are the families of the Levites, who are the families of Kohanim, knowing what they did, how they did, and you Samaritans who wanted to help build the Beit HaMikdash, where we said no, and then you caused all sorts of problems, or you Sanballat, and you Tovia, and all the others who caused the problems in the book of Ezra, back in the book of Haggai and Zechariah, you're not included. You are not in these lists. You are not from these families. This is not your Beit HaMikdash. Let's get to now. Once we mention Aaron, we'll go into the family of Aaron. Ve'ela b'nei Aharon, verse 35. Elazar b'no, Pinchas b'no, Avishua b'no, Buki b'no, Uzi b'no, Zerachia b'no, Miriot b'no, Amaria b'no, Achituv b'no, Tzadok b'no, Achimaatz b'no. We start with Tzadok and Achimaatz. That's already at the time of David and Shlomo later. Later on that we have those times. And now we're going to be told where they live. This is the place where they lived according to the settlements, to the sons of Aaron, the family from the family of Tahat. This was their land. We're told where the Kohanim lived. We know, remember this going back into the book of Breshit. Yaakov was not very happy when the sons Shimon and Levi killed all the men in the city of Shechem following the abduction and rape of Dinah, and says they're going to be spread out in Israel. And Shimon is sort of encompassed into the land of Yehuda, like we said earlier. And the Levites are spread out 48 cities throughout the western, most of the western, and some on the eastern bank of the Jordan River. So here we have some of the cities that were specifically for Kahat. They were giving Hebron, the land of Yehuda, and its surrounding pasturage. Hebron, of course, very important city. It was in the territory of Yehuda, and it was the first place where David had his capital. But the fields of the city and its villages were given to Kalev ben Yefune. Kalev was the first person in Israel to get land. Kalev was the greatest of the spies, was the one who stood up more than Yehoshua and said, "Alo na'alev yarashnu ota." We can take the land of Israel. And so he was the first one to get. He was given Hebron, but really we say here Hebron really belonged to the Kohanim, and Kalev was given sort of the fields and the land and the territory, agriculture availability around it. Livnei Aharon natnu et arei hamiklat et Hebron v'et Livna v'et Migarsha v'et Yatir v'et Eshtemoa v'et Migarsha. So different cities of refuge were given to Aaron and his sons. V'et Chileis v'et Migarsha v'et Vir v'et Migarsha v'et Ashan v'et Migarsha v'et Beit Shemesh v'et Migarsha. Some names that we are familiar with, such as Beit Shemesh. Umate Binyamin. And so that was all the territory within the land of Yehuda, and in the territory in the land of Binyamin, et Geva vet Migarsha, vet Alemet vet Migarsha, vet Anatot vet Migarsha, Kol Arem Shlosha Asar Ir, the Mishpachotem. They were given also the following cities in Binyamin. Perhaps the city that's most significant of these cities here in verse 45 is Anatot. There's a very famous Kohen from Anatot. First, the Kohanim from Anatot, the descendants of Shmuel, were sort of exiled from their service in the Beit HaMikdash because of Shmuel, the behavior of Eli's sons. Sorry, not Shmuel, Eli's sons. In the beginning of the book of Shmuel, the most famous Kohen who later comes from Anatot is Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu is a Kohen, descendant of Eli, who comes from Anatot. We learned about that back in the book of Yirmiyahu. Continuing verse 46. So that was that was for part of the family of Kahat. Now we get to other family of Kahat because we have other people. Aaron was one from the family of Kahat and his descendant Kohanim, but we have the Levites from Kahat. So that's verse 46. Many of Kahat's were given territory in the land amongst the half tribe of Menashe, 10 cities. And from the families of Gershon, right? Levi's 3 sons again, Gershon, Kahat, and Merari. That was Kahat. Now we have Gershon. They were given a total of 13 cities, and they were scattered out. Some were in the tribe of Yisachar, other Asher, other Naphtali, and Menashe and Bashan. That's on the other side, right? Half Menashe on the western bank of the Jordan River, half of Menashe on the eastern bank of the Jordan River. So the family of Gershon got cities in the eastern bank of the Jordan River with the half tribe of Menashe. Livnei Menari word 48. So from the descendants of Merari, they got 12 cities, and they were from cities that were in the territory of Ruvain and Gad. So that would be the eastern bank of the Jordan River, and on the western bank of the Jordan River from Zvulun. So 12 cities that they got. People of Bnei Israel, they gave the Levites the cities with their pasture land. They weren't going to be full-time farmers, but the Levites, because they had other jobs they need to do, but they had to at least have some pasture land outside the city. So they gave the lot of the tribes from Yehuda and from Binyamin that we mentioned by name, and by Shimon they were given to the Levites. Some of the families from the descendants of Kahat had cities in the territory of the tribe of Ephraim. We mentioned that already earlier. At Shechem, Vet Migarsha, Bar Ephraim, Vet Gezer, Mit Migarsha, and they were given Shechem and its land around it, and Gezer with the pasture lands with the land roundabout of Vet Yomi Me'am, Vet Migarsha, Vet Beit Choron, Vet Migarsha, Vet Ayalon, verse 54, Vet Migarsha, Vet Gat Rimon, Vet Migarsha, Machatzit Matei Menashe, Et Aner, Vet Migarsha, Vet Bilam, Vet Migarsha Lemishprat Levnei Kahat Anotarim. For the tribe of Menashe was given the following cities and the lands around them: Levnei Gershom, Mishpat Chatzim Matei Menashe, Et Golan Babashan, Vet Migarsha, Vet Ashtarot, Vet Migarsha, Matei Yisachar, Et Kedesh, Vet Migarsha, Vet Difrat, Vet Migarsha, Vet Ramot, Vet Migarsha, Vet Aneim, Vet Migarsha, Matei Asher, Et Mashal, Vet Migarsha, Vet Avdon, Vet Migarsha. Right, so we're going through the different tribes, different places, the cities that were given to them, which we had before, but now it's getting into more detail. Vet Chukok, Vet Migarsha, Vet Rechov, Vet Migarsha, Matei Naftali, at Kedesh Bagalil, Vet Migarsha, Vet Chamon, Vet Migarsha, Vet Karyatayim, Vet Migarsha, Levnei Merari, Anotarim, Matei Zvulun. So now other from the Merari we haven't mentioned yet, they got from Zvulun, at Rimono, Vet Migarsha, Vet Havor, Vet Migarsha, Me'ever Lardain, Yerechol, Mizrach Yardain. Now we go to the eastern bank of the Jordan River from the tribe of Matei Ruvain, verse 63, at Betzar Bamidbar, Vet Migarsha, Vet Yatza, Vet Migarsha, those two cities that were given, and the list continues, Vet Kedemot, at Migarsha, Vet Meifat, Vet Migarsha, Metei Gad, at Ramot Bagilad, at Migarsha, Vet Machanaim, Vet Migarsha, Vet Cheshbon, Vet Migarsha, V'et Yazer, V'et Migarsha. So these are the rest of the cities that were given from those families, and I think it's sort of important to point out here. We're coming back to Israel. I mean, the Jews at this point, Second Temple period, this book is being written, are back in Israel. And again, look, we said earlier, a lot of it's about the connections. It's trying to say to us in this book, this is our land, these are our people. We were here before. This was all our territory. The Levites, the Kohanim, played an integral role. We have to know where their cities were. We have to know who's who, because the idea of the yichus, the genealogy, the connection to the lands the Jews had left, and many, well, not so many, had come back, was very, very significant and very important. So again, we started with the tribe of Yehuda because the significance and centrality of what we'll get to eventually with different stories, the family of David and his descendants, but as well as knowing that this territory was ours in the past and the connection that we have to this land, and that shouldn't be overlooked and it shouldn't be let go. And so that's some of the different theories that we have to this book, and why we're being told just at this point, just a list of a lot of names of places and a lot of names of people.